Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Riiv to receive the top 10 stocks to buy right now. Shares of First Solar up 128% in the past year, and this is really one of the hottest stocks in energy right now. But you might not think that looking at both the company's income statement and its history. This is just a manufacturing company. It's actually shrunk operations, so it is just focusing on making great solar panels. But that's proven to be a really good place to be in the market, especially as the US looks for more manufacturing to happen locally, and there's incentives to build here. So I want to dig into why First Solar has been such a great performer and why this is a stock I'm still bullish on long term. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Riiv Investing. Please follow here on YouTube and give this video a like if you enjoy what you see. Let's start by looking backwards at First Solar's income statement, because I think that's an interesting place to start. You can see here that third quarter 2022 results were actually fairly weak. $629 million in revenue, only a 3.3% gross margin, and a net loss of $49 million. You might think that that's actually a sign of weakness for First Solar, but there's a lot of pieces going into this, as there usually is in the solar industry. So I want to highlight a few of those. One is that the cost of transportation has gone up significantly. A lot of these contracts that First Solar signed included a provision that First Solar actually had to provide the transportation from their manufacturing facility, oftentimes in Asia, to wherever they were delivering around the world. So as those costs went up, First Solar actually had to bear those costs in its own income statement. It has changed the contracts that it signs with customers recently to say that actually, customers, you're going to have to pay for the shipping. We will provide you those solar panels right here at the factory. Another is that First Solar actually has much more pricing power than it predicted previously. There are subsidies now for producing solar panels in the US, for installing them in the US. The cost of commodity panels has actually gone up over time because of inflation and because of raw material prices. So some of those weak prices were actually priced into the panels that they were selling in the third quarter and through parts of 2022. So that has shifted over time, and they will be able to demand a higher price, but that will likely take a couple of years to really come down the pipeline. So the third quarter numbers didn't look great, but the future is actually looking brighter than ever. During the third quarter, First Solar announced 4.4 gigawatts of additional manufacturing capacity in the US. That's going to be coming online. And you can take a look here that the manufacturing expansion is really just starting to take hold now. 9.7 gigawatts of capacity in 2022. But starting in 2023, we're going to see 15.6 gigawatts up to 20.5 gigawatts in 2024. I wouldn't be surprised to see this number continue to go up. So doubling capacity over the next 2 years with the potential to go even higher. And remember, I talked earlier about the fact that First Solar has really shrunk its business down to be just focused on making great solar panels. So that means its operating costs, its R&D costs, sales and marketing is not going to continue to rise at the same rate as revenue. That should give the company a lot of operating leverage. And so if margins improve starting in 2023, we should see a significant improvement on the bottom line as well. Here's the other thing to look at: expected module shipments. This is what's in the backlog. 21.5 gigawatts at the end of 2021. By the end of the third quarter, up to 58.1 gigawatts. Even given the current ramp in production, that is over 3 years of backlog. That is a lot of backlog for any company. And if First Solar is signing those contracts with these new pricing power that they have, this should be a very high margin backlog. The final thing I want to look at here is First Solar's balance sheet. This has always been one of the company's strengths. $1.9 billion in cash. They're going to spend a significant chunk of that to build out the manufacturing expansions that I talked about earlier. But this level of cash and the amount of cash flow that continues to come in from the business is really the company's biggest strength. It allows First Solar to survive some of these weak times in the market and take advantage when times are much better. So when the Inflation Reduction Act passed in the US and there was an opportunity to increase production and get a subsidy from the government to do that, First Solar was able to jump at that in ways that other companies simply couldn't. It will likely take a few years for the impact of all of these investments to really be felt by investors, but I think we're seeing the strategy start to play out, and that is why the stock is moving higher. You see management expanding production, increasing pricing, and also putting off some of those risks on customers like transportation and commodity costs, and the move to focus on just one segment of the market, solar panel manufacturing has been a real benefit. Now, the future upside could potentially come from partnerships with a company like SunPower, who is looking to use First Solar's technology to make a very high efficiency panel for the residential market. First Solar has typically sold almost all of its solar panels into the utility market because it has lower efficiency commodity solar panels, but that's starting to change. The company's really caught up from a technology standpoint and efficiency standpoint versus these commodity panels. And if it can take it a step further through this partnership with SunPower and its R&D unit, we could see another incremental addition to the market and another product to be added. We will likely hear more about that in the company's fourth quarter earnings call, so keep that one in mind. But I think there are just too many trends to ignore for a company like First Solar. You see increased need for energy around the world, falling costs for solar electricity. So that means that solar panels are in more demand, and this is one of the leading manufacturers in the world. And then add to that the subsidies that are being put in place in the US to move manufacturing here. This is already the biggest solar panel manufacturer in the US by a very wide margin, and they're just going to expand that lead. So I think this puts the company in a great strategic position, has a great balance sheet, and we should see that income statement start to improve starting in 2023. That's why the stock is moving higher. That's why I continue to be bullish on it. But what do you think about First Solar? I'd love to hear your comments in the comments section below. Again, follow Riiv Investing for more analysis on solar energy and other disruptions in industry today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time.